everybody, this is Caitlin here, aka Scribble Sketch, and welcome back to some more spoilers for Force of Will, the New Dawn Rises, and the starter decks. This time we actually have some new rulers to talk about. We finally get to see what the opposing rulers for our dual starter decks are going to be, for light and for fire. So we're starting off here with Brunhild, who is going to be the ruler of the Valkyries. She has a Divinity of 10, like pretty much every single other starter deck ruler. She has a Judgment of 4, which is 2 light and 2 void, and of course she has a light energize. I'm really liking her attire here. Her hair seems pretty crazy. It's like tied up in all these different braids and held up, and she's got this really awesome helm with wings on it, and she's looking pretty cool. I'm liking her design. She seems pretty epic here. The leader of the Valkyries and the voice of Odin. So obviously she's with Odin and whatnot. And then she flips over and becomes Brunhild, Caller of Spirits. She's a 1200 Valkyrie with Divinity of 10 again. She also has flying, which is pretty nice. When she enters the field, you put target Resonator from your graveyard into the field, and that's pretty much it. So again, she only has one effect when she enters, and again, this effect can probably get cancelled and whatnot. So again, I'm still a little bit iffy about this. I'm iffy about these rulers that really have one shtick or one gimmick when they flip over, and that's it. Especially when it's enter abilities, it can definitely get cancelled pretty easily and whatnot. So I'm not too sure how to feel about this. It would have been cooler if she could have pulled out more Resonators from the graveyard, like not just one. Would have been cool if she could have brought out maybe 1 or 2, or depending on their cost and whatnot, depending on that one. But I guess, you know, she's alright at the moment. Souls chosen by Brunhild return to the battlefield as heroes. So she's all about bringing people back from the grave or whatnot, bringing things back onto the field. Next up, we have Acolyte of the Sun, and this is actually a card that a lot of people were surprised at. It's a 1 cost, it's 1 light, 200 human. You tap and produce light. So by the looks of it here, I think Force of Will has pretty much confirmed they are no longer giving mana ramp or any kind of mana dorks to wind. It looks like the last ones that you'll see from that will be from Rail Cluster, or that 3 cost, I think, that can tap and produce wind. That's going to be the last one for wind in terms of them getting mana dorks, and light is getting one now. So that's actually kind of interesting turn of events here, that light is the one that is being given it. Some people were maybe speculating that it could be given to water instead, if any other colour was going to get a mana ramp or any kind of mana producer, but I'm kind of pleasantly surprised that it's actually gone to light. So I guess we'll just need to wait and see whether or not people make use of this or not. I can maybe see people maybe splashing light in order to try and make use of this, but of course, without jewel stones, that'll probably be quite tricky. The Light of Faith becomes the source of life. Next up, we have the Warrior of the Sun, another 1 cost Resonator. It's a 400 human with first strike, and that's pretty much all they do. It's kind of a funny artwork here. I'm not sure if it's mainly the face on this warrior here. Kind of like makes me smile a little bit. They're just pulling such a funny face. The sun grants upon the warrior the courage needed to fight. Again, pretty simple stuff. Not much else really to say about the here. We've got like a kind of low 1 drop with 1 ability and everything. Next up, we have the Valkyries Chosen. I really like the artwork for this one. It's actually really nice. It's a 2 cost Resonator. It's 1 light and 1 void, 600 human. When this card enters the field from a graveyard, it gains 200 swiftness and precision until end of turn. So you could choose this if this was in your grave when you flip over Brunhild or whatnot. Not exactly the biggest Resonator that you could bring back. You'd probably want to bring back something a bit more beefy, since she doesn't have like a cost requirement for which Resonator you select. So you'd probably want something that can either attack that turn, or something that's like got a decent amount of attack and defense, probably. Within the soldier lies an unwavering spirit. Interesting. Also, this armor reminds me a bit of Ryoma from Fire Emblem Fates, if you've ever checked him out. Next up, we have Eir, or Ear. I think I'm going with Ear. It looks like it's pronounced Ear. Ear, the Valkyrie of Mercy. She's looking very, very nice. I really like the artwork and like the soft lighting on her and everything. She looks very angelic. She is a 3 cost Resonator, a Valkyrie 1. She's 2 light and 1 void, a 600. When she enters the field, you put target Resonator with total cost 2 or less from your graveyard into the field. So heck, if you just like get her out of your graveyard, get her in, and then she can trigger and bring back that soldier dude or whatever, the Valkyrie's Chosen? Yeah, the Valkyrie's Chosen. She could just get him, bring him into the field, and he's got swiftness and everything, so you could pretty much combo all these enter abilities and everything. That would be a pretty nice move. The warrior who fell in battle is given another chance at glory, so anyone gonna ask for healing or anything like that? You know, just a little nod at mercy here. Next up, we have Sigrun? I'm going to say Sigrun. I think that's pronounced Sigrun. Sigrun, the Valkyrie of Victory. She is a 4-cost Resonator. She's 2 light, 2 void. 1000 Valkyrie with flying, which is pretty nice, even though don't really see any wings on her, yet she can fly. Maybe she can just, fly off into the field as a Valkyrie and whatnot. This card gains Eternal during your turn. So I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, they said that Eternal is a new keyword where essentially it means this card cannot be destroyed. So I'm pretty sure that's what Eternal means. So basically, on your turn, she cannot be destroyed by anything or whatever, or unless she loses Eternal or something like that. And whenever she attacks, you rest a target J/Resonator. So pretty nice for the SR for the starter deck for Brunhild. Brunhild, is it? I'm pretty sure I said it was Brunhild. I'm not quite sure here. Victory shall be attained by our hands. I really like the artwork. She looks really, really cute. Next up, we have some chants and some runes and whatnot for her. We have a Blessing of the Sun, a 2-cost chant/rune, 2 light, divinity of 2. You may pay 1 light less to play this card from a rune area. J/Resonators you control gain 200, and at the next end of turn, recover this card until end of turn. So that's quite a nice one for just like a 2-cost here, and obviously the divinity of 2. But if you're playing it from the rune area, then you can pay 1 less. So it's quite a nice little card here and whatnot. At the bottom here, it says the people of Minerva believe in all life forms believe all life comes from the sun. All life forms come from the sun. I'm getting all my words mixed up and I'm adding new words to this. Like, don't mind me, I'm just rewriting the flavor text. Next up, we have an addition. It is Country of the Sun Minerva. This is quite a dope looking place, I'm not going to lie. It's got like massive wings. I don't know how this thing is floating in the air, because it looks like it's just going to crash and burn. It actually reminds me a little bit of Angel Island from the Sonic Hedgehog series a little bit. It's a 2-cost addition. It is 1 light, 1 void. Resonators you control gain Eternal during your turn. So again, we're giving Eternal to pretty much all our Resonators if they don't already have it. So this is very nice because it makes you feel a little bit safer on your turn. You feel like you can like make some more plays and whatnot. Then you don't have to be as cautious as you normally would have to be. As long as the sun doesn't fade, life shall continue for all eternity. For eternity, praise the sun. Next up, we have another chant/rune. It is Spear of the Valkyries. This one is quick cast. It is 1 light, 1 void with divinity of 2. You pay 2 more to play this card from a rune area, so if you're playing it from a rune area, it costs 4. This card deals damage equal to the highest attack among J/Resonators you control to target J/Resonator. If you control a Valkyrie, you gain that much life. So that's a nice little chant here. I would probably prefer to play this as a chant as opposed to just a rune. I need to figure out if you are playing this as a chant in your deck as opposed to in your rune area, do you still need to pay the divinity cost or do you just pay the initial cost in the corner? I need to find that out because I need to figure out whether or not that is a thing or not, because you would use up your divinity pretty quick if you just put these chant runes into your main deck. A soul-piercing blow at the bottom here. And then we have the Magic Stone for the Valkyries and whatnot. We have Magic Stone of Faith. It taps and produces light. If you spend this well to play a human or a Valkyrie, it cannot be cancelled. So that's actually a really nice way to kind of protect your stuff even as you're playing them. Because if you are using this well to play any humans or Valkyries, they are protected and they cannot be cancelled, which is a pretty nice ability to give to a stone. Odin demanded subordination from all those beneath him. This is actually a really, really nice card. It's kind of funny how this card makes me think of angels more than Valkyries, but it's for the Valkyries instead of the angels and whatnot. But still a very nice stone. I really like the artwork. It's really interesting. Probably a very good one for the Valkyrie deck and whatnot. So that's very nice for our light spoilers. And then next up, we are moving down to fire, and this is what I've been looking for. I've been waiting for this. Isis is here with our fieriness and whatnot. I'm actually pretty excited. I am actually very tempted to get her and maybe build her instead. I'm torn between building her or Lucifer. I might build both actually, but I am very excited about both these guys. But Isis, I'm very excited for. So she is our fire ruler, Isis. She is an ascendant, which is an interesting kind of ruler type and whatnot. She has a divinity of 10. Her judgment is 4. It is 2 fire, 2 void with an energized for fire. The gods who birthed Sandora from nothing distributed their own power to a few humans, those of which would later rule as ascendants, which is a pretty neat name to give them. And then when she flips over, she becomes Isis, the 100-weapon master. So she's got all kinds of weapons that she can make use of. She's a 1400, 800, which is pretty decent stats and whatnot. She has a divinity of 10 still, and she has first strike. She also has these different abilities, so I like that she has a little bit of variety. You can pay a fire, and this card deals 200 damage to a target J/Resonator. You can pay another fire, and she gains precision until end of turn. or you can pay 2 fire, and this card gains barrier until end of turn, which is actually really nice. So she starts off with first strike. You can give her precision, which, if for all you oldies out there, that is target attack, I believe. And then you can pay 2 fire and give her barrier. So that is pretty insane. You can make sure that you can protect her at all costs if you've got the will up to do so. Her ultimate attack resembles petals scattering in the wind, earning her the title of Flower of the Desert. I really like her a lot. I like her style and her artwork and everything, and I am probably going to build her, no doubt about it, because I like her a lot. Now we're going into the deck a little bit, some of the cards that are in it. We have a Sandworm here, I'm torn between saying cute and ugly. Like, the top half is kind of cutish, and then you get to that mouth, and that mouth terrifies me. It's a 1-cost Resonator of 1 fire, 300-400 with swiftness. This card cannot be attacked. So again, it's actually kind of nice. You can have something that can't be picked off so easily by your opponent. A swift and intelligent hunter of the desert. Like, dude, you better run away from this thing. It is terrifying. Next up, we have the Sandora Blacksmith, another 1-cost fire Resonator, 200 attack and 400 defense. It's a human. If a fire J/Resonator you control would deal damage, it deals that much plus 100 instead. So that's quite nice for any kind of like ping effects, such as Isis has. This is just great in general, just like for dealing damage and everything. You just get to chip in a little bit extra and whatnot. So I quite like that a lot. When crafting arms, the slightest mistake can be the difference between life and death. Imagine if you stacked these guys, because I'm pretty sure they're a fixed stack. So if you had like 2 of them out, would you do an extra 200 damage instead? So I'm wondering if these guys all stack with their abilities. Next up, we have Magician of Molding, a 2-cost Resonator, 1 fire and 1 void. It is 600-600 human. If a rune you control would deal damage, it deals that much plus 200 instead. So again, this is kind of like the inclination as to what we were talking about with she deals damage with runes. I'm expecting we're going to see some runes that will deal a lot of damage themselves and whatnot, so you can make use of some of these cards like this. Using a little imagination, sand can be molded into anything. And we're going to see what the sand molds into next with Sand Dragon, a 3-cost Resonator, 2 fire and 1 void, a 1000 dragon with flying. When this card is dealt damage, you destroy it, so it's a little bit of a squishy Sand Dragon here, a little bit squishy, or if it takes any damage, you have to kill it. And whenever a J/Resonator or rune you control deals damage to your opponent, put this card from your graveyard into your hand. So that's a good way to recycle it and whatnot, because since it seems like it will die a lot, probably, you can recycle it just any time that you use a rune, which is dealing damage to your opponent, which is actually kind of nice. The needed materials are all around Sandora. Ooh, the sand is everywhere. And then I really like the artwork for this guy. He looks pretty cool. We have Set, the Commander of Destruction. He is a 4-cost Resonator. He's 4 fire, a 1200-1000 Ascendant. Pretty neat. He just has swiftness and first strike, but I quite like him a lot. He seems pretty cool. He seems like the big beefy Resonator that you really want for your Isis deck, and I really like his design. He's like wielding this giant chained pillar as a weapon, and he's got some kind of like magic stuff coming from his hand. He just looks really epic. I'm really liking him a lot. Let's see which breaks first, your mind or your body. Oof, we're sending out threats here. Set has got the threats, and he's coming at you with that giant pillar. And then next up, we have some of the ones for New Dawn Rises. We have Carrier Camel, who my friends were saying is going to be the new hero pig of the set. We're going to have Carrier Camel to the rescue all the time. It is a 2-cost Resonator. It's 1 fire, 1 void, 600-600 beast. When this card is put into a graveyard from the field, draw a card, then discard a card. So again, you get a little bit of draw, but you have to get rid of something in order to get the draw. So it's like a little bit of mixed opinion here on this one. To add burden, one must remove burden elsewhere. So yeah, that pretty much sums up that effect there. You draw a card, but you need to get rid of the card, so it's like you need to like replace what you were getting. Next up, we have the City of Mirage, Sandora, a 2-cost addition. It is 1 fire, 1 void. When a J/Resonator you control is targeted by a chance spell or ability your opponent controls, you can banish this card, and if you do, you cancel that chance spell or ability. Now, this one, I think, it doesn't count for runes, so if a rune is doing that, then you won't be able to banish this in order to cancel it. It is basically only for abilities, or it is for chance, which are spells and whatnot, so it's kind of like iffy about like the kind of wording on it, but I can understand why they worded it that way. While it certainly is real, from outside the city of Sandora appears as if a mirage. Because, you know, you're in that desert and it's very hot and you're like looking about trying to see if there's no wastes or anything, and you think you see Sandora, but it might not be Sandora, but it actually is Sandora. And now we have some more runes here. We have Sandstorm, which is a 1-cost rune of 1 fire. It's also a chant rune. It's only got a divinity of 1. You may pay 1 fire less to play this card from a rune area, so you can play this for free, which is actually kind of insane. This card deals 200 damage to each Resonator your opponent controls. So yeah, if you stack this with the blacksmith and whatnot, like if you have several blacksmith, then this would probably be pretty cool if his effect stacks. To small beings, even a small sandstorm is a harsh tribulation. A very harsh tribulation. And then finally we have the Magic Stone of Dueling, which is the special magic stone for Isis. It has got tap and produce fire as its normal ability, or you can tap and produce 2 fire, spend this will only to play activate abilities of J rulers you control. So this is making Isis a lot better in that you can just keep one of these stones up and you've got 2 will to spend on her abilities, and that's pretty insane. You know, you can give her barrier and she does all this amazing stuff and whatnot. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed me talking about these spoilers. Let me know guys what you are excited for. Are you excited for the Valkyries, or are you excited for Isis and her ascendants? Personally, I am the most excited for Isis in particular because I like her style, I like what she's got going with her resonators and her abilities and everything, and hopefully we'll see some more runes and whatnot for her next week and some more chants. But I hope you enjoyed this video guys. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe for more forcible spoiler discussion, and I will see all you guys later. This video was made possible thanks to patrons such as Alucard, Craig McCutcheon, and the Carnivalous Waltz.